talk about the most important African American abolitionist in pre-Civil War America, and he is the first national North African American leader in the U.S. history, and that is the Frederick Douglass. Frederick Douglass was born in February 1817 on the eastern shore of the Maryland, and his mother, from whom she was separated at an early age, was a slave. He never knew or saw his father, and as a slave and separated from his parents, Douglas was forced to work hard and suffered the cruel treatment while working on the property of their captain, Aaron Anthony, who decided to send the 12 years old Douglas to the Baltimore to live with the man named Hugh All and his family. And Douglas' life improved somewhat while he was working for the Ault. And Mrs. Ault was a northern slaveholder, generally did not treat their slaves as badly as people in the South did. She even taught the young Douglas the basics of reading and writing until her husband stopped her. And in 1833, Thomas Ault took the Douglas back from Hugh after the dispute. And dissatisfied with the Douglas, Thomas Ault sent him to work for the poor farmer who had reputations as a slave breaker. He whipped the Douglas regularly. The 17 years old Douglas was nearly broken psychologically by his ordeals, but he finally rebelled against the beating and fought back. And the Ault then bring him back to the Baltimore, and then in 1833 he borrowed the identification paper of African America, so he was able to escape to New York, and where he married a free African American woman from the South, and several of their children were born.
And in 1883, he escaped slavery and fled to New York City, and he had a lot of speeches about anti-slavery. Also in 1845, he published his own autobiography about his miserable life as an African slavery. And later, he also convincing President Lincoln to allow African Americans to serve in the military, and it helped reunite the country. Also, he later traveled to Europe and he visited a lot of places, and he spent 20 years to promoting his ideas about freedom for everyone, for African Americans. So later he got support from European anti-slavery groups. So he came back to the US and wrote his own freedom. And he also started his own paper called Anti-Slavery Newspaper. Besides African Americans' rights, he also preaching about women's rights. He said that women, however, like the colored men, will never be taken by her brother and lifted to a position what she desires, and she must fight for. He wrote a book called The History of Women's Suffrage. He spread belief of equality for women. He believed it is important for women to have the right to vote, and the act called Women and the Ballot. Ballot is a voting system. He thinks it's very important for women to get what she wants and to have the same right as men. Because of his efforts and his spirit, he made a great change for African Americans, and during his life he fought for the equality for everyone, regardless of their sex or color. So I think this is what makes him a great person.
Unfortunately, his first wife died in 1882, and 2 years after, Douglas marries again to the Helen Pitt. His second wife is also 20 years old younger than Douglas. And on February 20, 1895, Douglas attends a meeting of the National Council Washington, D.C. Shortly after he returned home, Frederick Douglass died of a massive heart attack or stroke in Washington, D.C. And he was born in New York, and that is his tomb, where he has lived for 25 years, longer than anywhere else in his life. Thanks. That is our presentation.